If you have worked through any of the previous videos in this lesson, you will have heard me mention calculation mode. Well, this video is all about explaining exactly what that is, and to that end, we're working on a sheet called calculation mode. In Excel, we use 4 signs for basic calculation: the plus sign for addition, the dash for subtraction, the forward slash for division, and the asterisk for multiplication. But we've seen there is another sign, and that is the equal sign. And it's the equal sign that places Excel into calculation mode. To see how this works, we're going to carry out an addition. So click on to cell B4. Now before we calculate, take a look at the ribbon. As expected, we can see that most of the buttons are available for use. If we look at the name box, it has the name of the cell we're on contained in it. If you look at the X and the tick, they are currently greyed out. Now we're going to start our calculation, so type in an equal sign. If we now look at the ribbon, we can see it's almost entirely greyed out. The X and the tick are now active, and the name box has covered over and is now showing a function name. By the way, don't worry if the name box in your Excel says something different to mine, because it's dependent on what has recently been used. So what's happening? Well, Excel has now been placed into calculation mode. And when Excel goes into calculation mode, it converts the plus sign from being a plus sign to being an addition. It converts the dash from being a dash to being a subtraction. It converts the forward slash from being a forward slash to being a division. And it converts the asterisk from being an asterisk into being a multiplication. By typing in the equals, we place Excel on high alert for calculating to take place, and everything converts to make that possible. As we know, when we click on cell B2, we see that Excel picks up that cell address and adds it to the calculation for us, so that we don't have to type it. Notice also that the selection on B2 is a broken moving line. Now that line might stop moving, but it's the fact that it's broken that we need to take notice of. As long as that line is broken, it means that if we click on another cell, it will completely override it with the new cell address or name. We'll try it. Click on E2. And you can see that E2 has replaced B2 in the calculation. So this means that when we're working in calculation mode and we select the wrong cell by mistake, we can simply click on the correct cell and it will be fixed. What we can't do is get out of a calculation that has gone wrong by deselecting or clicking away, the way we would in Word or PowerPoint, when we're in calculation mode. If it's all gone horribly wrong and we just want to cancel out of the calculation, then we click on the X and it will be put back to the way it was before we ever started. And by the way, if you prefer to use the keyboard, then pressing Escape does the same thing. Let's redo that. Type in equals and click back on B2. When we put in the calculation sign, whichever we use, we'll see that the broken line becomes a solid line. Now this means that the first part of the calculation has been accepted. If we now click on another cell, it will not override it. It will add on to the calculation instead. This second cell now has the broken line. So if we click on another cell now, it will be overridden. Click back on to B2 and that is now correct. To finish off the calculation, I've been clicking on the tick rather than pressing enter. I do use enter, but I generally use the tick when I intend to do something else to the cell after the calculation, as it saves me the bother of having to move back onto the cell to carry out the next action. At the moment, I'm just using it to familiarize you with it, but if you prefer to use enter, then there is nothing wrong with that. So now we know that when we type in an equal sign into a blank cell, Excel goes into calculation mode, converting those signs from being ordinary signs into calculable signs. In Excel, there is an order in which calculations are carried out, and our next topic will explain that order. So if you're moving on to that next video called Order of Operations, then you can keep this workbook open.